I've had one go and it's not sort of worked. So let's try this thing again. I'm just going to try and get it up on my PC as well so I can see what everyone's got to say. So how's it been for you lately? It's rather warm out there today, and my day has changed, and it's not how I thought it was going to be. Right, let's see if I can get this up on my computer. Yes, we're on. So let me tell you about today. The day was planned so that Debs was going to horse racing in Newmarket with some friends from work. And my plan was to go out and shoot some B-roll. Unfortunately, that didn't happen today because, first of all, it's so hot and so muggy out there that Debs decided that she didn't fancy going after all. So she's ended up staying at home. We've got all the curtains closed around the house. It's absolutely baking hot. Don't mind the heat. It's the mugginess I can't stand. It's really, really humid today. And so because of that, I haven't gone out. I had planned, as I said, to go and do some filming out there. But with the heat as it is, and the biggest problem I've noticed as I've been taking films since I've started going out and videoing again, they seem very washed out. So I've had to buy some filters for my camera. Now the filters are coming. They've just passed customs in Germany apparently, and they should be here by Tuesday. So what they basically do is it's like putting a pair of sunglasses on the camera. So it brings everything down. So it's all visible and it's not too bad to watch. So I've done that. That's what the plan is. I'm buying these filters and hopefully I can get out. Question for you. What do you think of the videos since I've started changing the format on them? I got very bored, to be honest, of just holding a camera in front of me and filming me all the time and nothing else happening. And so I felt that we needed a little freshen up on the channel, if you like, to have a look at different things. I've done a couple. I did one inside here the other day, and I did one out and about in the lane at the back of where my office is, as it happens. And it went okay. Hello, Deb. How are you? Hope it's all nice and cool for you over there in Canada at the minute. It's as I've just been saying, it's really hot here today. I've been trying to do these things with the camera just to make things a little bit, I don't know, a bit nicer to watch, if you like. And my hope is that the videos are a little bit more entertaining to watch, as opposed to just seeing my face blabbing to you like I am now. I'm hoping to get out and about tomorrow. We've got planned a party in the park in a town about 5 miles away from here. And we're tempting to go over and see it and see what it's like over there. Hopefully it'll be good. And I'll take the cameras with me, and if we can get anything and it's worthy of filming, then I will do, and we'll probably put a video out sometime during next week. It's been a really, really weird one of taking the videos and doing the videos like I've just done them. The last couple have took forever. They take ages to do because I'm stopping and starting and moving cameras and putting tripods up. Speaking of which, I don't know if you've noticed it, you probably won't, but I've been having a big buy up. I bought a tripod the other day, a nice little nifty little tripod to take out with me, because I wanted a small one because the one that I already had was massive, and when it's folded down it's about as high as this off the ground. So I wanted a smaller one so that it was easier to take out and about with me. And on Father's Day I got this little goodie. Now this handle, you put your phone in there and it enables you to walk about, and it's steady like a camera. It's got a bit of weight to it, and it's good for going down on the floor. So if I want to get any nifty shots on the ground, this thing is going to help me to do it. And it's good because I can put camera lights on it and fit camera on the microphones and all that sort of thing on the side. So this is a useful bit of kit. I've been wanting to get it for ages, and Niall, my stepson, got it for me for this time, for Father's Day. So that was good. And I went out and did a video with that the other day, which was quite fun. I wanted to talk to you today about something that I've found happens to me a lot, and I didn't know if anyone else goes through it as well. I am a typical heart on your sleeve kind of guy. I can't hide when I'm angry. I can't hide when I'm happy. And I can't hide when I'm as bored to tears as anything. Everything shows up on this face. I wouldn't be any good playing poker or anything like that, I don't think. But as a consequence of it, what I've been finding lately is that it can be really hard to put up with the world that's around us. We're getting lots and lots of news and on the telly. I even noticed it on the telly. I don't buy a newspaper. Stopped buying one years ago because I didn't like all of the negative stuff all the time. Rarely do I ever watch the news. It's usually I'll come and put it on and it's on and I'll turn it over as quickly as I can. So I probably see about 2 or 3 seconds. And yet it's caused me to dislike going on social media. I'm a big Facebook person. And I've had a Facebook page for absolutely yonks. That was Noel, just walked past the door at the back. And on my Facebook page, over the last 2-3 years, really, it's got really political. And I hate it. I've always thought that your political views you should keep to yourself. And when you go to sign and do the polling thing, you keep it to yourself, you sign it. That's why it's anonymous. But people don't these days. It seems like since the birth of social media, people feel that they can just talk about it and say whatever they like. For me, it's made it hard because I'm not very good at that scrolling by. I start to read something and then I get really angry. It doesn't seem to, I can't flick through things. So what I found is that I'm doing less and less time on social media these days. Do you get that as well? Is it the same for you? Because I can get so wound up so easily. And yet I do my best to stay away from it. What I figure is that if anything really important is going to happen, someone's going to come and tell me about it. I'm bound to it anyway. So if I can avoid the news and if I can avoid the newspapers and kind of now avoid social media, then I've got a chance of actually getting away with it and trying to live a normal, sane life. Now, for me, that's probably hard to think about because I'm one of them who's definitely got to be on the go and got to be doing stuff all the time. However, watching this live stream at a minute are a couple of people who I can't hold a candle to for getting stuff done. Deb and OJ, that's Mrs. Coffee Walks and whatever. They are unbelievable. They've done so much work. They bought a house last year and have completely redone it. They've done a garden, more garden in about 3 weeks than I've done in my garden in 13 years. Do you find, going back to what I was saying, how long can you live without the internet? Do you know what, gaming TV? I find that really hard now. I expect it's for the same for most of us. I don't know. I don't remember a time when I didn't have to have the internet every single day. Every day I do all of my business via the internet. I don't write letters anymore. Nobody writes letters, do they? So I do all that kind of stuff as emails and all that sort of thing. So I'm using the internet every day. I use Facebook every day. There's always something that I want to learn. And so Facebook has become my point of learning stuff these days. As for the social media, Twitter or X or whatever it's called now, I was on that for about 5.5 minutes and it felt like a cesspit, so I got rid of that. I am on Instagram. I don't use it very much anymore. I was on Pinterest for a while as well. And so I've used those two. Those two aren't too bad, actually, because what I used to follow on Instagram are sign writers. As someone who's done a bit of sign writing in my past, I find it very easy to watch a sign writer work. And I love the intricacy of proper signs. And so I used to watch Instagram because a lot of them were on there. Now there's a few on YouTube, and so I watched them too. Facebook was my modus operandi, I suppose. Hi OJ, how are you doing? Facebook I used a lot. When I was doing radio, I had as many followers on Facebook as you could have friends, I think they called them. I had 5,000 or whatever it was. I also had groups as well for the different radio shows that I did, because I used to get a lot of listeners on there. And what I found was it was great for ages. I used it primarily as a promotion tool for my radio shows. It was only when I gave up doing radio that I started turning it into a personal account, if you like. And it was then that I noticed all of this other stuff, this noise that I can't stand, was on there all the time. And so Facebook was something that I used to use a lot. And now it's got to the stage where I go on there each day and do any birthdays. And now I just keep up with friends and family, I suppose. Many of the people, I had 5,000, I've got that down to about 860 now. As most, and pretty much everybody on there, I know 80 or 90% of them. Let me just have a look up here. I haven't seen this. How do I avoid the trolls and fake AI videos? I avoid them by not going on there much, to be honest with you, David. I can't be doing with it. I would come off Facebook altogether if it wasn't for my friends and family that are on there, because it's the way I keep up with them. I'd lost touch with loads of people over the years, as you do when you get married, you go to different parts of the country. I lost track of loads of people, and with Facebook, I found them again. And it's been great and easy to get in contact with those people. So I've stuck with it because of that. What first we got into using the internet a lot? Well, the first thing that got me into using the internet a lot was music. I was a DJ down the coast. Hi Tim, how are you? Good to see you. I was a DJ down the coast for a long time, and I used the internet as a way of getting my name out there, I suppose, and running a business. I ran most of my work that I got in the days when I was doing discos and things was word of mouth. I never really had to advertise. I used to get a lot of word of mouth from different people, and that always kept me in work. But once I decided that I was going to try to do radio shows, funnily enough, it was a man from Canada who got me involved in radio, a guy called Big Daddy Donald Roberts, his name was, on the radio, and he was great. I used to listen to him at the night time, and he convinced me to have a go at doing radio. And it was because of him that we started up, and then I got going. So that was really what got me into radio. Posting on YouTube is a new thing for me. I got to be honest. I started this. I had a YouTube account about 11 or 12 years ago. Never used it for posting, and I used to come on YouTube rarely, and usually when I wanted something, when I needed some information or something, and I wanted to see how something was done, how a repair was done on a tool that I had or something like that. And I didn't use it a lot until the lockdown of 2020, when I started to watch it just to pass time, to be honest. And that's how I came to end up being here. I watched it and I was watching people and they seemed to be having so much fun that I wanted to have a go at it as well. And that's how I come to start looking at it. I'm looking over there because that's where my monitor is. So excuse me while I just have a look away. Hello, Tricia. How are you? Nice to see you. I'm just having a little read. Deb's got it when your dad got sick. It is a great way of getting in touch, Deb. I've got to agree. I totally think it's a great way of getting in touch with people. And you can get in touch with people so quickly now as well. Do you remember the days when we used to know everybody's phone numbers and dial them into the phone? I don't know that anymore. Since we've got smartphones and you just have the name there, I ring that. But more often than not these days, I go on the internet to WhatsApp and talk to people via WhatsApp these days. One, it's free, and two, it's just so easy, isn't it? So I tend to be there. David, I have a friend who's late 60s. An interesting story. I don't think you can convince anybody, David, to tell their story and do their own story. However, in saying that, for me, it's one of the best things about YouTube. I love watching people who've got a story to tell. And there are many great YouTube people. Tim, who I just said hello to, the new retired me, is excellent. If you ever get the chance, go see him because he's brilliant. And I've been very fortunate, although he lives in America and I live here in the UK, we did get to meet last summer when Tim came over and came to Cambridge, actually, which is about 5 miles from my house. And so we did meet up a couple of times and it was great. Good to meet him. But he has an excellent channel. Now, the age I'm at 64, coming 65, if you want to send me a birthday card. No, truth be told, I've got to that stage where I watch a lot of people of my age. When I started doing... Hi, Dom, how are you? Thank you for your kind words. That's very nice of you. As I said, I tend to watch people with my age group. I think most people do. Hi, Myra. How are you? It's nice to see so many of you about this today. I say this today. Many of you are in America and Canada, which means it's probably your morning. Yeah, so I tend to watch a lot of people who are in their 60s and so and above. And so if your friend, David, has got an interesting story, point into some of the other older people and watch some of their videos, because I believe everybody has got a story of value to pass on. The reason I started this channel was to pass on the stories of my family to my two sons. They live 200 miles away from me. I don't see them very often. And the chance to tell them the stories have got less and less as we seem to be further apart these days in location wise. And I think a YouTube channel is a great legacy. My channel has changed over the 2 years that I've had it. I started off with just them two people in mind, and it kind of grew. Other people liked my content that I was talking about, and I tried to be enthusiastic and pass on a bit of advice and optimism and all that kind of stuff, so that hopefully it's a positive port of call, if you like, for people to come along and watch. And if your friend has got stories that would be of value to others, I think it'd be great for him to do this. But the biggest thing that I've ever found is that a person convinced against their will is of the same opinion still. And so they tend, the more you push someone, the less they're likely to do it. I'm going to call you Gaming TV because I don't know your real name. I'm drawn to the older channels. But then again, there are some younger creators that I watch a lot as well. I think it's good to have a broad spectrum of people that you watch on here. But if the truth be told and it comes to it, the majority of the people I watch are 50 and over. And what I find is that when I listen to some of them, I really feel as though I don't know what I'm talking about half the time, because some of them are so excellent. They're excellent. They'll start to tell different things and talk about different things. And they just sort of explain things far better than I do. I'm not, what's the word? I'm not clever enough with my words, if you like. Yeah, David, do that. Show him some. I'm sorry if I'm jumping about. I'm just looking over there, seeing things and just trying to answer everybody. I know it's probably not a good thing to do. But David, yeah, let him see some links of other people. There's some great people. Send him to New Retired Me. Send him to Coffee Walks and whatever. Send him to Silver and Solo. There are so many. I don't like to say I'm older because I still think I'm young. But there are so many of middle age and above, really, really good channels. And it's not because the people in them are so brilliant at what they do. It's because they're themselves. And I think that's the key to it. If you're looking at doing this, you got to try and be yourself. I remember when I started my channel, I did a couple of videos, 2 or 3 videos, and like introduced myself and did all this sort of thing. And my youngest son said to me, "Who's that guy then?" He said, that's not being you, Dad. And he's right, because what happens is that you kind of, like I had a radio voice, I kind of think, oh, I must have had a YouTube voice. And it's took me ages to relax a bit and be who I am. So when people first start their channels, they tend to be a little bit more professional, if you like. But I don't want to be professional. I want to be the same person that you see when you go out, that you watch when you watch on the screen. When I met Tim, one of the great things was that we sat in a Costa Coffee or something like that, and we just had a chat, and he came across to me exactly the same as he does on his channel. And that was brilliant. It's really good to know that when you meet these people and they're still the same as you think as they appear to be on the video. I'm not explaining myself very well, am I? Sorry about that. One of Jason Beaches. Ah, that was a long time ago then, David, when I was talking about videos in VHS. Oh, thank you very much. It's nice that you're still here, and I do still love physical media, and it still plays an important part in my life. Trisha, yes, I do remember, and I also remember saying to you that when you start your channel, let me know, and I'll subscribe and start watching you. Hi, Luke. How are you? Happy and healthy. Well, I'm happy. I wouldn't say I was healthy. Need to go on a diet. That's absolutely correct, OJ. Just start doing it and everything will fall into place. I'm just trying to think of different things I could talk to you about. I did a video the other day. It's really odd. A lot of times when I've done live streams, and I don't do them that often, I've got to be honest, but a lot of times when I do, I end up talking about music. Someone will ask me about my records and all that, and I was pretty shocked when I did one the other day. I thought, I've not done one about music for ages. So hi Tammy, how are you? Good to see you here. I haven't done a music video for ages, and I thought to myself, how can I equate music to what I do on this channel now. And I started talking about how music makes me feel and the things that I feel about music. And it really went down like a bomb. I've got to be honest, it was the longest video it's took me to make for ages. And it was also the crappiest watched video that I've had for at least a year. It's really done stinkingly awful. And I think to myself, don't think I ought to talk about that again. No, I'm not a musician of any type, I'm afraid. I tried to play the guitar. I've got a brother who can play guitar. I've got a niece that can play guitar. Deb's family are all musicians. I'm the odd one out. The other thing I can't do, not only can I not play an instrument, but I can't sing either. And that's why I was a DJ. Why I did radio and why I did discos, because I can't do either of them. And so, nah, I'm not a musician in any way, shape or form. Yes, going back to David, just one more thing while we're on that subject. Tim's just mentioned it on his new Retired Me. He does another channel as well called Life in Motion Diaries. And on there, he's done a selection of videos on how to do this. And it's a real worthwhile watch. That was good. I enjoyed that. Can I dance? Oh, yeah. I can dance. Nowhere near as well as I could do. If you watched my video the other day, the music what I'm talking about, there is actually a very small portion of it with me dancing around my living room. So yeah, I do like to have a little jiggeroony. But when I was younger, yeah, I was a teenager in the years of disco. I was 17 when it really broke over in the UK, and I started DJing at 17, and I started going to clubs at 17, and I used to be out all the time, and dancing was my thing. Them 12-inch singles, you know, the LP sized singles, which were about 7 or 8 minutes long. I remember at one time I used to be able to dance a song that was 7 or 8 minutes. Now about a minute and a half, and I might. And so I'm sitting down and watching all the others. So, couple of beers, and I'm a diva at karaoke, like us all. Now, let me tell you, I have only done karaoke once, and it was in a pub at Weymouth, and I sang very, very out of tune. A song that was on one of Quincy Jones's albums, The Dude, I think it was. And it was sung by James Ingram. It's called Just Once. No, it wasn't. 100 Ways. That was what it was. And I totally murdered it. One, because I can't sing. And two, because I figure that if I'm going to do karaoke, I'm going to try and be as out of tune as I possibly could. Because I knew it was only going to be the one and only time that I was ever going to do it. And so I did 100 Ways. If you've never heard of it, go on YouTube, type in James Ingram, Quincy Jones, 100 Ways. Have a listen to that. It's a beautiful song, and I absolutely murdered it. It was great fun, but I'm not going to do it again. Do you think the 80s and 90s would have been more or less fun? I think the 80s and the 90s would have been much less fun if we'd had the internet. I personally think, as much as we've all grown to depend on it, and as much as we all love it in different ways, I think it's ruined our lives in a certain way. I think that if I look back over the years from when I first got a PC that could go on the internet, and that would have been about, I don't know, 1993, 94, maybe a bit later than that. I can't really remember for sure. But I used to be out and about all the time. Now, it's like you never go anywhere. But I live my life watching other people live their lives. And I spend most of my time when I'm on Facebook looking at all my friends who go on holidays and go all these places, and I think to myself, oh, I wish I had their life. And then I forget, or rather I remember, that the truth of the matter is what you see on social media are like the highlights. No one on Facebook and Twitter and all of those other things, they don't give you the videos of the crap of life. They give you the best of. It's like a compilation LP. This is the best of my life, and I'm putting it on here. And it's also curated. That's the thing. So if in answer to the question, I think the 80s and 90s would have been much less fun than they were. But if you know my story, you'll know that the 90s wasn't much fun for me because I lost our business and everything that went with it. So they were pretty rough years, but the 80s was damn good. I love them. Am I missing anything else out on there? Yeah, so that's all I can really think of at the minute. Unless any of you have got any questions you want me to answer. We've done half hour. I was surprised. I only expected it to be 2 or 20 minutes. I didn't expect anybody to be in on the weekend. I thought everyone went out. Perhaps you're all on the internet. As I said, tomorrow we're off out. We're going to this party in the park. I'll take my camera with me. Hopefully, there might be something there worth filming, and I can have a chat and talk about whatever's on my mind. I've been thinking, staying out of the sun. Staying out of the sun is something that you got to do when you got the old baldy head. Now, I don't mind the sun. What always does me is the humidity and the mugginess. If that's happening, then I'm ruined. I just have to sit inside in the cool. Today, I've got the window open there. I've got the great big fan behind me. You can't probably see it there. I've got that behind me blowing away. So, a working weekend. Do I wear hats? I wear caps. And I've got a straw kind of trilby hat that I wear every now and again. But most of the time, and I'm terrible for this, is I go out and forget to take them. They end up hanging on our coat rail as you come in the door of our place, and I'll go out and forget them, so I don't half the time. David, I'm glad you've enjoyed your break. Do come back. You're welcome to leave any comments. Anyone who's watching this on the replay, by the way, if you've got anything to say, anything you'd like to add to the conversation, feel free. Down there, you know the thing, don't you? And which artist, musician, film not widely appreciated would I recommend to you? Artist. I'm a huge James Taylor fan, so that's not going to work, is it? Because everybody knows who James Taylor is. A film to watch, Cinema Paradiso. It's in Italian. It's got subtitles. It is the most beautiful film of it. And after you've watched that one, go and get a film called Il Divo. That's brilliant as well. That's my 2 film tips that are not on the normal thing. Other art forms. My big love as an art form is sign writing. It's silly as it sounds. You know the lorries that we used to be painted before we got vinyl lettering? I love sign writing. In fact, I can do a little bit of it. And in my past days, I'll show you some of them. Let's have a look. Some photos of bits and pieces. This is a market stall that I used to have. I painted that sign along the top on those ones there. When I used to do fairground art, I don't know if you can see that. Fairground Art by James Murphy. I've done a lot of sign writing over the years and painting of fairground rides and bits and pieces. Let's have a look. Oh, well. I can't find them. I should have got them ready beforehand, shouldn't I? Anyway, yeah, I like watching sign writers work. And I know that sounds silly, watching someone painting. But it's amazing, you know. It's amazingly calming and relaxing watching someone paint. And I've always been of awe. If you're in England and you look a lot at the fairground rides, the older ones, not necessarily the ones that are all screen printed, but the ones which used to have the fairground swirly art on them. I love it. Love all that kind of work. And so as an art, as an art form, I think it's underrated. It's on its way out, but it's brilliant. No, it doesn't look like graffiti. Graffiti is a different kind of art form altogether. I think a well-constructed letter, and particularly sign works and scrolls and all that sort of thing, are brilliant to watch. I follow people talk about being geeky, nerdy kind of guy. One of my favorites. There's lots of things I like to do. To be fair, I like to spend time at a seaside town near a beach. Not to lay on the beach. I love the sea air. I was born on a coastal town, so I kind of like all that stuff as well. Hello, Jonathan. Good to see you. You like my top, do you? Well, let me tell you about this top. Why am I going to admit this to you? I bought this top 13 years ago. The reason I know it, I found a photo this morning with it hanging up in a row of shirts. Someone had took a photo of it, of my row of shirts, and this was there. So I've had this shirt for 13 years. I like to get my money's worth out of something. It has to be dying before it goes. Anything else? This is your last chance. It's your count for 10. Before I get on with my day, go and see my wife downstairs, because I told her I was doing this, and she, oh, all right, I'll sit down here then. So, yeah, that's about it from me today. If there's anything that you'd like me to perhaps do a video about at some stage, I'll have a go at that. If you do like music, I'll put a link below. I'll put a link below for the last video that I did, the one that I talked about music. I really liked it. I thought it was a good video. Although it was a bit, for me, I wanted an excuse to talk about music the other day, and I'd been playing quite a bit of it. So I thought, I know, I'll do a video about music for a while. And so that's got, actually, it'll tell you a bit about the story of me. Not that it's overly exciting, but I kind of think it resonates with most of us because we've all gone through that same route. You too, Deb. Have a great weekend. Have I watched City of God film? Yes, I've got it on DVD. I've got it downstairs. It's great. Good film. I like those kinds of films. Yeah, City of God was good. And there's another one, isn't there? Is it Children of God? Can't remember. But yeah, I've got it on DVD downstairs. Thank you, Tammy. I'm glad you enjoyed that video. I thought it was fun to make. But it appears it's not of interest to hardly anyone. I think at the moment it's had 130 views, which is probably the worst video I've done for at least a year for views wise. And yet it's something I'm so passionate about. I am wearing shorts, yes, Jonathan. How do you know that? How can you tell? Subtitles certainly don't put me off. Lahaine, eh? How do you spell that? Haine. Okay, it's on my list of ones to look for. And that's about it from me, unless there's anything else. I know I keep saying that because basically I've run out of things to talk about, and I don't want to sit here going, what do we talk about next? So, yeah, that's about it. Thank you so much for joining me. Not done this for a while. Perhaps I should do this a little bit more often. Taking that, Luke. Thank you, David. It's good to have seen you here. And I'm really pleased to see so many of you, to be honest. I don't Normally, when I do one of these, I probably get 4 or 5 or 6 people. But today, it's at the moment, there's 16 of you. That's brilliant. Hat and the cream. My wife will definitely take care of the hat and the cream. And gaming TV, always happy to answer any questions. Not that they're always right, but I will always try my best. And if I don't know the answer to something, I will not try and fob you off. I will always say to you, look, I don't know. I'll come back to you as soon as I can with the answer. And that's it from me. Over and out. It's been great chatting with you. See you